That's going to be a good series. We're guaranteed another PVZ. So we do have Curious spawning down to the south. And up to the north, we have Jaedong. Okay. Are we going to see any pools is the question. Jaedong already goes up to 10 drones. And Curious, yay! See, I told you, man. I told you. I told you. He loves doing it. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. So, this could work out all right for him, depending on what Jaedong is going to throw down. We'll see what he wants to do. And very, very curious to see how Jaedong is going to play against this. Does he go hatchery first, or does he go spawning pool first? Well, that spawning pool is on the way. I'm seeing something in the distance on my producer's PC that makes me think I'm going to have to take a picture very soon. Yep. Damn it. Alright. And for now we have pool first here for Jaedong. So he should be able to eventually sneak out some lings just as these arrive. It's going to take quite a while for these lings to head on over. But at the same time, he may have to cancel his natural to get the minerals necessary to have those lings out and around at the right time. The Overlord will see those lings on the way. So now, we'll see what Jaedong wants to do in terms of a response. Of course, with that much foresight from the Overlord spotting it, and with the pool going down at this particular timing, he can save up. Like, he doesn't have to commit all this lava. He didn't commit that lava to drones, you know, just in a normal fashion. So he saves the lava, he gets the lings producing, as well as a queen. So now, technically, he will have some Zerglings available to him to deal with this without having to cancel necessarily. But if he doesn't control this properly, he brings down a few drones as well. A wise move here from Jaedong. Wise, but will it be the right one? As he has to control this properly against these Zerglings, who are doing a good job in terms of dealing with this hatchery. And he's going to end up going for the engagement pretty soon. That's quite a lot of lings that we're seeing out here for Curious. He has 10 with 2 more rendezvousing. And looks like he's being forced into a bit of an odd spot here against this. So that hatchery is still very low. Not too many losses, only one unit gone down here, but that queen coming down certainly makes this a little bit easier for Jaedong to hold on against. And this has been a really impressive defense by Jaedong. Just straight down the line, very, very strong. 7 units killed to 2. He's killed 7 Zerglings, he lost 2. He has a hatchery up and running, Curious does not. Curious behind this now has to go for some kind of speed all in, I imagine. Whilst Jaedong, all he has to do is identify that, build a wall off, build a spine crawler, and he is looking good to advance on. The Zerglings in production. These are going to have to hold on against the Zerglings that we're seeing for Jaedong, but once again, he still has full confirmation that his opponent does not have a hatchery. Still a load of Zerglings in production. He sees them even hatching now. They surround, kill off the queen. That's actually a big deal, because on one base here, without the lava injects, if you have a saturated mineral line, you need the lava injects to be able to spend all the money on Zerglings. So that was a smart move by Jaedong there. And I think that one action alone may have just forced Curious to grab this expansion instead of going for some huge all-in play. Of course, also those lings breaching up into the main and seeing only Zerglings in production also tip him off to that kind of play. But now, the Zerglings are pushing across the map here for Curious. There's already a relatively strong wall-off here, but actually there's a huge hole on the right-hand side, so that wasn't the best of wall-offs. And those Zerglings can quite easily run on into the main base. There is not a queen there, as it was brought down from the natural. Also, these bases aren't connected with creep either, so the queens are going to have a little bit of a hard time really getting to that spot. Jaedong tries to drone drill in that crevice in between the minerals to buy some time for these queens to get back there. Still has not lost a drone during this aggression. Unit counts, 32 drones to 20. Looking to keep it alive, but he's actually going to try and focus down the hatchery. Will he be able to get it in time? The 2 spine crawlers as well as drones, and the transfuses keep it alive. Oh, Curious does not make it work. Whew. Curious is in such a bad spot in this game now. Having sacrificed all of those lings to try and get a hatchery. Oh, he got a drone. He got 1 drone. But now with 36 drones against 26, and only just now this expansion finishing, now morphing into a layer. It's desperate times here for Curious. It really is. More lings poking on out. But Jaedong from here could quite happily do exactly the same tactic that he did in the previous game and feel comfortable. But it looks as if he's gonna go for some kind of Mutalisk play. I mean, he's got double evolution chambers, and he's getting... Okay, so I guess 1-1 with Glary Constitution is the only answer to that. I was expecting the upgrades to start a little bit quicker, but he wasn't as committed to his gas as he was to just holding that off and surviving, which he did in spades. It's 45 workers to 30. Curious is about to have his layer finish up, and he's going to go for Spire. There's really no other option here for Curious. But other than that, it's just drone to the 3rd base, chilling on out. And then all is good from here on. Jaedong looking good in this matchup. Very good. There goes Glary Constitution. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Nidus Worm as well. But at the same time, Jaedong has not identified that this is a Spire play, and as such has not started Queen production. So Roaches and Queens with a Nidus Worm. Ah, okay, there's another one. Wait, he's already got 3. If he starts another one on the base, then that could be good. I mean, he sees an Overseer, so he knows his opponent has a layer. Oh, he sees it anyway with a Changeling. Oh, the Changeling. Oh, he spots the Spire. All right, okay, so he can just start full Queen production. It may be it's a little bit later than it was last game, though. It really is a little bit later. So I feel that Jaedong might have to play this out further with that 3rd base. And he's actually adding on the Infestation Pit, yeah. So because it is a little later that he's spotted that compared to game number 2, the Nidus Worm play that we saw there is just deterred from completely in this game. But there's still a lot of Roaches. Those Roaches are going to pile across the map towards that 3rd base and buy him a good chunk of time, while some head over to the 3rd himself. So these lings aren't going to be too pesky. And now even a Spanquil has to be thrown up here for Curious. They got 1 Queen in the end of those Zerglings, but did not get a 2nd. For all of those Zerglings, not really the best of trades. And also, this 3rd base is going to be forced to cancel. So once again, a really tight bind here for Curious, as Roaches, not only from that 3rd, but also from his 3rd, now try to swing in, go straight past that Spine Crawler, and look to try and find some damage here in the main. All of this, once again, as I said before, buying time to set himself up with Pathogen Glands, set himself up with Spore Crawlers. Once those Mutalisks have finished cleaning up the mess that these Roaches have left, the Mutalisks go over there, prance around a bit in circles, and then realize that there's too many Spore Crawlers for him to contend with. So, Evolution Chamber goes down here for Curious. I think Curious realizes now with these 2 Evolution Chambers that he can't really continue on with the Mutalisks after having them bought time. But in essence, now, because we see the game flow as it is, and how things have gone on, technically the Mutalisks can buy time here for Curious. They grab a Queen. Will they grab another? Yes, they do. But this buys time for him to now get his upgrades going on his Roaches or Lings or whatever he wants to do. It's going to be the Roaches, of course, with that Roach one going down. And it does have that 3rd base on the way as well. But the Mutalisks will rule the map for a little while here. And Jaedong is amassing 3 Queens per cycle. So, and there's no like real focus on creep spread actually. So I think that we may end up seeing Nidus again from him to really put on the hurt against his opponent. all of these queens, they're great for the defensive position, but without a creep spread, then you're not going to get over there anytime soon and really put on the pressure. Of course, also the Infestors can zone them out if he wants to go for the assault with just Roaches and Infestors. But I like the idea of bringing the queens along for the ride. It's a lot of fun. It is. How many does he have right now? He has 8 in total. So the Infestation Pit for Curious is on the way, as is 1-1. But the upgrades are just leaps and bounds ahead for Jaedong right now, as we have a small skirmish in the middle of the map. As he starts his 2-2. And there's going to be a Hydralisk Den. Okay, so the options were amass all those queens, and then just make a Roach Warren, make a Nidus Worm, go across with your Roaches and Infestors, and try and kill. Or the second option was use all of those queens as really, really good support for when you're able to land these fungals defensively. And then just buy time for your Hydralisk Den to come out and look at the chain fungling on those. Very, very nicely done. Catches quite a few of them. He did lose 1 or 2 Infestors for the trouble of that. But any Mutalisks that he can kill here really do alleviate the pressure that is being put on right now. So the Overseer is going to head on in. Sees no research on that Spire, so is very content to know that it also needed to see the Infestation Pit as well. He's going to kill the spawning pool. Not the biggest of deals at this point now that that Jaedong has so much tech available to him. As we have Roaches now. I mean, Jaedong's army is 92 army supply against 70. And it is just, I would say, more valuable in general. In terms of how effective it's going to be when the battle actually comes. A lot of energy for the queens. He's deciding to just slowly trundle those across the map, as opposed to using something like Creep Spread, which technically would detract from the energy that these queens do have, or a Nidus Worm, which could be a little bit scary in itself. But these Mutalisks, they are really playing a dangerous game. Unfortunately, he doesn't even get a single Infestor during that. And now we have Jaedong maxed out, with Queen support at his army up front. Now, this is going to be a difficult hold here for Curious. Very difficult. He doesn't have as much energy on his Infestors. He doesn't have the ability to transfuse. Too much, at least. And with the reinforcing Roaches here from Jaedong, he's going to end up going for it. Infested Terrans are the choice here as he tries to push on forwards. A few of those Hydralisks at the back that were pinned down by Fungal Growth don't really do too much. Not too bad a Fungal Growth through the middle of this army, but as long as he's able to land the transfuses on these, he should be able to keep this going. The Roaches are trying to penetrate through, but you've got to remember that there is 2-2 finish for these, and not only does it benefit the Roaches and Hydralisks, but it also benefits the Infested Terrans when they were trying to pop, as well as these Queens as they continuously press the issue here, reinforcing with 27 Roaches as opposed to only the 20 for Curious. Technically, yes, his reinforce point is shorter, but one of the hatcheries, the macro hatchery, ends up falling, and there's not that many Queen transfuses left here. As long as he can reinforce with the extra Roaches, he should be okay to continually make this happen. The thing is, he's trading blow for blow. It's going really, really nicely for Jaedong, and the Remax should be able to push on through. And here we go, Jaedong just really pressing the issue now. Curious has all